imagine a door that wasn't hanging square, is a bit of a disaster, isn't it? Okay, so here's how to get it right. First thing that I do, and this is really just visual, is I decide where I want the hinges. Now they're no good, we'll have two of them, always going to have two of them, if not more. They're no good really close together there like that. They're no good really close to the edges there like that. Why?
Because the lid won't close.
The lid might close.
Because the sides won't stay.
Right, you're going to split the wood if you only need yourself that much there. Okay? So I'm just going to visualise, I probably want them in about there, but it'll look bad if I don't get that right. So I'm going to measure that roughly. That was exactly 30 millimetres. I'm just going to draw around that one. Now I know I want my next one in at 30 millimetres because I like them to look the same. Hinges, this is called checking a hinge, and you cut them in. But hinges are almost, they open and close like a book. Okay? And rather than calling these pages, we call these leaves. And there is, if you have a look, a little one and a big one that wraps around the barrel. And the way to mark it out when you put it on is to get the little one, the little leaf. Okay? And to put it on, oh, I didn't put my dot at 30. I thought I'd done that. So I'm getting the little leaf, and I'm going to sit that on, and I'm going to lock this barrel here, the barrel hanging underneath it, exactly in against the edge of the wood. Right, and then I'm going to mark around it. Now if I do this with an enormous fat crayon, or a not very sharp pencil, how far away from that hinge is my line going to be? Too far. Okay, we want this accurate, because if you don't get this bit tight, then the hinge can sit like that. And if the hinge sits like that, when you screw it onto the lid will sit like that. Alright, so we want that hinge to sit very tight in its little checked out groove, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm putting it in the vise because I'm about to chisel. Not very well in the vise, but chisel. I'm about to chisel. How fat do you think the leaf on this hinge is?
5 mil.
1 mil.
1 mil.
5 mil. The material thickness of this hinge.
Oh,
1 mil. So when I check this out, it is a tap and not a whack. Could you just grab me that little wooden mallet or a nearer one? If I whack it, I'm going to go down deeper than 1 millimetre, aren't I? We've got pine, thank you very much. We've got pine, so it's only soft. And I'm going to sit the flat edge, not the bevel edge, right on that pencil line. Right? And I'm going to hold it. And then I'm going to give it a tap. Fairly firm just then, because I was going across the grain. Right, I'm going to turn it and do that. Okay, now I come to this bit, I'm going along the grain. I probably don't need to tap it as hard, because when I'm going along the grain, it is slightly more likely to split or go a bit deeper than I wanted to. Okay, easy? Yeah. I just checked out or marked out the edge of that hinge. And I'm going to chisel it away, but it's tricky, because if I start chiseling like this, there's not very much stopping me just go all the way along, yes? So, I'm going to be clever, and I'm going to give myself a couple of little ridges that sit in there at the right depth, and they're going to kind of work like, little stoppers to stop me chiseling farther than I want to. I'm going to do this bit by hand. See how I stopped on that little edge? Let me step back just a fraction. And I'm going to stop on the next little edge, and the next little edge, and the next little edge. When I get to nearly the outside, I'm going to be quite careful, because that's the bit I don't want to go past. Remember, I said if you make this too big, it won't sit level. Right? So I'm going to go, whoops, not do that. That's what I want to try not to do. Where is it important that my hands are?
Behind the blade.
Back behind the blade. Always, at all times. Both of them. both of them. Remember Mufti Day the other week?
Yeah.
3 chisel cuts in one day. Oh. Wearing Mufti, didn't feel in uniform, not concentrating, bending the rules. 3 different people in 3 different classes, all in tech. Okay, so you can't bend that rule without getting hurt. Especially on this job, because this particular job's got chances of slipping very high. They're only a millimetre deep, aren't they? Chances of slipping off this. Okay, I can tidy this up a fraction more, and I'm definitely going to make sure that I've got all of the fluffy stuff out of the edge, and I'll show you why in a minute. Try really hard not to break it there. Alright, if you've done this well, when you come to sit in your hinges, the hinge will sit flush like that. If it sits high of the wood, keep going, okay? Because when we fold this down, if it's sitting high, your lid won't close. The lid will sit kind of slightly up like that, and you'll keep poking it close and it will keep springing back up again. It's a bit annoying, alright? So you want that to be flush. Then you do the next one, then you screw those 2 in and close it, sit your lid on, and you mark where the leaves there are going to go while you're holding your lid flush. Now if you hold your lid like that when you mark it, it's going to close like that. Alright, so you've got to hold it level and exactly where you want it to mark out for checking out this side. Now is this going to go on the edge here? You have a look at where it was then. Right, so when you come to doing this, it's going to go on the flat. You see, a lot of people try to put it here on the edge. It doesn't go on the edge of this one, it goes on their flat. Okay, and you check the hinge in as well and it sits down there. And then you just take little screws and screw. I like to put, actually in your project doesn't matter, but I quite like to put them on the, what would be the door or your lid first, and then on here. Questions? Checking out hinge. Right, don't make it too big, it'll go crooked. Don't make it too shallow, it won't close. Good listening.
Thanks, Ms. Rebel.